Everybody, hello friends, welcome back to the show. I'm Andy Knode, and this is my first ever live stream. JT is Reborn is the first person to jump on here. Congrats again on 1,000 subs. And I have to say that pointing out that JT is Reborn is the very reason why we're doing this live stream. He had mentioned in the comments a while back, actually I was probably at 3 or 950, and he suggested that I do a live stream in celebration. So, and we're seeing some more people are jumping on there. Bat Yoda, I think that's the first time that I've seen you on here. Yo, thanks for joining us. So I just thought that this might be a nice opportunity to be able to talk directly to some of you and see what you think of the channel, and just as a way of celebrating hitting 1,000 subscribers is quite a feat. I started producing regular content for YouTube probably, it was a little over a year ago, in October. No, it was September when I actually started, at the beginning of September. And it still is just a hobby, a way of just kind of trying to throw some content out there and do something that I enjoy and something that I'm interested in. And it's been really fun and really exciting to see people engaging with it and people getting excited about something that I'm excited about, which is Batman and Superman and DC and comics and cartoons. And really, like I mentioned in my last video about the 1,000 subscriber video, that it was really just an excuse to be able to watch cartoons. And it's even more enjoyable to have all of you enjoying that with us. So I'm looking at the counter. So this is my first time going live. So this is all very new to me. We got Power B is on here. Mary Doll, I've arrived. Very nice. Welcome. Thank you. And so I'm seeing a few people jumping on here, and we'll be hanging out for a little bit as we get going. Jason T. Clark, hello. Thanks for joining us. And it's so much fun to see these names that I'm familiar with, that I see pop up in the comments regularly, and I try to respond to as many of those as I can. But to see you guys here. So we'll have a portion where I want to be able to answer any questions that you might have and talk about some of the things that you want to see happen on the channel, or things that you've had enjoyed on the channel before. We got a Mary Beth Knode saying, I'm cute. Wow. Hope my wife's okay with that. JT is Reborn is back on. Did you get a chance to check out the first episode of Titans? I did get a chance to see that. I actually watched it last night, and I think a little bit later in the show, maybe we'll talk a little bit about that, since I did do some video content about the DC universe. And actually, some of those were some of my most popular videos here on the channel. And so I think we might be able to talk about DC Universe and hit some of that. So again, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody. And that's really the heart of this video, was a way of being able to hang out with all of you live and in person here as much as we can. And being able to, because it's really about you guys. You guys were the ones that helped me get to 1,000 subscribers, because as I mentioned in that previous video, that it's just a matter of me producing content and putting it out there. And there's a lot of content out there on YouTube, obviously. And certainly a lot of content about Batman and Batman the Animated Series and the DC Universe in general. So I was hesitant to jump into that foray, just because it's so saturated. There's so many people out there producing videos like this. But I wanted to jump in, and I wanted to give it a go and get an opportunity to share some of my thoughts and views. And it's been so much fun to see you guys connecting with that. And week after week, month after month, seeing more and more people subscribe to the channel and more people engaging with the channel and talking. And I love seeing the conversations in the comments as well, that it's not just about me responding to the comments, but it's about you guys are answering questions of each other. And certainly there's plenty of you that have been mentioning things that I've missed in the episodes, or offering your own opinions. And that sort of thing is what I truly did not expect. I don't know what I expected per se when I jumped into the YouTube business, but it's been so much fun. And yes, JT is Reborn. You've done a great job covering the episodes. Thank you. That means a lot, because all I can offer, I have no inside knowledge of the DC animated world, other than just being a fan, and being a fan of DC superheroes, and really superhero comics in general. Jason T. Clark says, you're the best. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I certainly enjoy making these videos. And really, that's how it all started. When several years ago, I started looking into YouTube and wanting to produce more of that. And just a little bit about me personally is that I started, so in my regular day-to-day life, I work as a producer for local television. Nothing extravagant, just local community kinds of videos. So producing videos and hosting and talking to cameras and things is very natural for me. Editing, shooting, all of that in the video world comes very easy for me. But I started looking at YouTube just as another creative outlet, just as a way of being able to offer additional content and something different from what I do in my day-to-day work. And as I started looking at YouTube, I was trying to figure out what I could offer. And if you look at some of my early old videos, I actually had my YouTube channel since 2011, I think. 2011, I think it was, but never really posted any videos other than using them to send private videos of like audition tapes and things like that. So when I finally wanted to start producing videos, I started making a couple of like movie reviews, and I wasn't producing them real consistently. But really, it was when I came up with the idea of reviewing each and every episode of Batman. And little known secret, I actually thought of this idea for producing videos about each and every episode of Batman way back during their 20th anniversary. And I thought, well, it's too soon. I'm not going to be able to do that. And every time I thought about doing that, every time the year would roll over and it'd be the 21, 22, I was like, boy, I really should wait till the 25th anniversary because that makes the most sense. But I didn't want to wait that long, and it kept getting closer and closer until finally it was, well, I haven't done it yet, and now it's the 25th anniversary. And really, I think, if for anybody that's interested in producing videos on YouTube, that's the thing. Then I guess read this, nothing cuter than Mrs. Knode complimenting Andy in the comments. Yes, there is nothing cuter than Mrs. Knode commenting on that. And so I appreciate her support in putting together these videos. She puts up with me leaving for hours on end to record these videos and spend time doing this, sometimes in the evenings and weekends when we could be together. And she's been very supportive in these videos and helps out where she can. Greetings. I've always thought Superman TAS wasn't talked about enough. Thanks for giving me that. So yeah, and that's why we're jumping into the Superman episodes now, because Batman was a way of entering into this YouTube world. And what it did for me, truly, was it gave me a starting ground. It gave me a way of scheduling myself, forcing myself to produce videos on the original air date order. We have Wolf 356. Congratulations on 1,000. I wanted to let you know how much I love this channel, and although I'm sorry, we're missing it. I'm sorry I don't really comment. I've been here since the beginning, season 1 of your Batman reviews. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I know that there's people that I hear, that will comment later on, and they haven't been there, or they've been there from the beginning, but just haven't been commenting. And I appreciate everybody that watches, and however you want to engage and however you're involved in that. But when I started producing the Batman episodes, it was a way of, they gave me the schedule, and I was trying to match that up. So sometimes that meant I was doing 5 videos a week, sometimes 4 videos a week, and they would come out during the week or weekends, and it gave me something to go off of. And really, it's what gave me a schedule to stick to and deadlines to stick to. And that's what the first foundation of this channel was built on, was those regular videos. And once I got some legwork done on that, then it was easier to back off and do just a set schedule that truly fit better in my schedule, to be able to just produce videos Tuesdays and Thursdays. Hopefully in the future, I'd like to get into even more of a routine and be able to produce more content regularly. And some of the videos that have been really popular were my news-related videos, talking about the animated series coming to Blu-ray. So that's been really cool. So I don't know, maybe there's an opportunity to do more of that type of video. So I'm seeing some comments rolling in here as people are talking about the channel. And I appreciate people that are getting engaged and talking with this. So I did want to take some time to answer any questions that you might have about the channel and whatever you want to talk about. You want to know how I produce the videos. You want to know how I got into comic books. You want to know how, whatever. You ask away, and I'd be happy to take some time to answer some of those questions about whatever. JT is Reborn was asking about the Titans show. I did watch that last night, so we can talk about that. I don't want to give away any spoilers for those that have not seen the episode yet, but I'm going to get a drink of water here. This is one of the joys of doing live, is that you get to see all the flubs and all the parts that I cut out of the regular video. So I do have my Batman glass here with some water and coffee, which is also included, but it's not a way of dehydrating, or coffee does dehydrate. Have any thoughts on the remastered BTAS intro? Are you talking about the HD remastered video that they released showing you what it's going to look like in the Blu-ray version of Batman, the animated series? Because I did see a side-by-side comparison video of that, and I'll be honest with you, if that's what you're asking about, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'll be honest with you. Okay, yes, Power B is saying, yes, that is what you're talking about. It looks fantastic, and certainly on a bigger TV, it looks incredible, and it's sharp, and it's crisp, and you can see all the line work and the detail. But this will sound weird, and maybe I sound like a hipster to say this, but it does feel a little unnatural for the way that I grew up watching this show. The nostalgic factor, and I mentioned this way back at the beginning of the first video that I did about the Batman the Animated Series coming to Blu-ray, is that there's something nostalgic about the idea of the way we watched the show initially. It never was an HD. It was always a 4:3 aspect ratio designed for standard definition broadcast television. HD was not even heard of at that point. So there's something nostalgic about that lower quality. Now the DVDs that they released, I think in the early 2000s, are also look great, and I think they look as good as they were intended to look on the show. So yeah, the tint, you're saying that the tinting is a tad off as well. And it is, like the colors are almost too sharp, too crisp. So I think it's great in terms of people that are experiencing it for the first time, and certainly the younger generation that has only known HD and high quality content, that it makes sense that now they get to experience the show the way that they're used to, and maybe wouldn't watch it for yes, Jason Knode. Hey, my brother's on here. We tuned it on rabbit ears. Remember those? Yes. We had one TV in our living room, and we would have to tune in the rabbit ears, and we would always tag team that. Either my brother Jason would be up at the TV adjusting it as I was giving him notes on how I wanted it adjusted, or more commonly, because I'm the younger brother, is that I would be up by the TV, because you couldn't get quite the right perspective if you were up by the TV adjusting it to see how well it looked. And certain channels came in really good and certain channels didn't. And if I remember correctly, channel 43, which was Fox, is where we were originally watching Batman. And 43 was always hit and miss, especially on Saturday mornings, whether or not we could get it to actually tune in. And especially afternoons were even more challenging, because you come home from school and the show's going to start right away, so you got to hurry up and try to get it adjusted before it started. And I certainly remember some nights where it just wasn't going to tune in and you could not get it, or you'd have to watch it through the static. So that's the version they should come out with, the static, true broadcast television version of Batman, so that you can watch it the way that we actually grew up watching it. But I do think that the younger generation that is used to HD, because I know when I was younger and my mom was always trying to get me to watch black and white movies, I would immediately discount them, or black and white TV shows. I didn't want to watch it because it looked old and it didn't look good. But now I've come to appreciate it much later, because it looks, because of the quality of the content, not necessarily just not giving it a chance because it is in black and white. So I got some comments here that are rolling through. we got JT is Reborn. I first watched Batman the Animated Series on Toonami. Yes, I remember that. And Dragon Ball Z, the perfect combination. I'm very anxious of what kind of bomb you were going to use for the Superman episodes. I can't wait. Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, that I have been using the Joker bomb still with the Superman the Animated Series, and I know that was a bit of a cheat because I already had that animation created. So that's a great suggestion. I should come up with something for the Superman episodes, whether it's a timed box that opens up some kryptonite, something like that. JT was asking how long it takes to write. Oh, great question. Thank you, Mary Beth, for jumping in on that. So it has varied a lot over time, and I just turned my computer back on if you heard that beep. It's evolved a lot over time. Is that certainly the earlier episodes took a lot longer to do. For the most part, my system is I will watch the episode and take notes as I'm watching it, and then usually we'll go back through, watch the episode again as I'm fine tuning those notes and finding the kind of the talking points. I don't necessarily script it out per se, but I do go through and just find those talking points. And usually, so it takes the duration of the episode twice. So that'd be two 20-minute sessions, and I try to do those kind of back to back. And then I sit down, and usually sometimes I can record the same day. And early on when I was doing the videos, I certainly was doing, I would write an episode, I would shoot an episode, and edit it, and then move on to the next one. I've now gotten into a little behind the scenes tip. I now got into batch shooting episodes. So I try to shoot 3 to 5 episodes at a time and write them. So when you watch the videos and you see me wearing different shirts, now you know the inside scoop that I'm really just changing my shirt and shooting the next video. As far as shooting the videos, usually it takes, with the editing, is I'm pretty good at going straight through the video. And there's certain lines that I have to re-edit or reshoot. And so truly it probably takes me to shoot a 15-minute episode. It takes 20 to 25 minutes, sometimes 30 if it's a really long process. And I work through there. And then to edit it, because that's something that I do in my day-to-day life, I wish I was faster at it. But it probably takes me about, my record is to edit an episode in 90 minutes. I can go through it 2 or 3 passes, cut it down. I now have the template created with the information on the side about the title cards and the ranking of each of the episodes and the bumper at the beginning and the tag at the end for the end screen animation. All of that's already pre-built, so it's easy to just put that in, and it's just a matter of editing it through there. So start to finish, I would say it's probably about 40 minutes to write, 30 minutes to shoot, and 90 minutes to edit each episode. I just want to scroll back a little bit here. I saw some other questions coming through. And I apologize if I'm getting your name wrong. Targi, Sphere. Would you ever cover the Batman series with Tim Drake and Dick Grayson as Nightwing after doing Batman TAS? Do you have any thoughts on the style and change of Superman? I'm glad you said that, because that is actually what's coming up next. The New Adventures, and Dr. Exco is asking the same thing. So now that I have finished the first season of Superman the Animated Series, that's actually what I'm starting next week, is the New Adventures of Batman. So I'm going to review the first season of that, and then we'll go in back to the second season of Superman, and then the second season. I'm alternating seasons because those episodes actually aired at the same time in a block of time. If you ever remember the Batman Superman Adventures, which was like an hour-long show, but it was really just a half-hour episode of Superman and a half-hour episode of Batman put together. So that's the plan, is that I'm going to be jumping into reviewing the New Adventures of Batman. So you'll have to tune in next week. I have my first episode talking about the series coming out on Tuesday, which again, going back to JT's question, I have the first 3 of those episodes already shot and ready to go jump into the batch. And so we will be starting that on Tuesday, and then the first episode Holiday Nights will come out on Thursday. And so I'll leave my comments for that about my thought on the new animation and the new style of the episodes for that. And also, I forgot to mention at the beginning, we do have a special guest that's going to be appearing on the show a little bit later as we get in there. So if you get bored of just listening to me talk, stay tuned. We have a very special guest that's going to be joining me here a little bit later in the show. But I want to go back and see. I had some more questions that came through. You should, JT is reborn. You should document the entire process of making one of these episodes. That's a great idea, and certainly something that I've thought about at different times of setting up another camera. And actually, on my Instagram, every once in a while, I had posted some videos on my Instagram stories of just like photos and videos of my setup. Which, if you follow me on Instagram, maybe I should post more of those type of content if that's something that people are interested in. Who's your favorite Batman actor? Jason T. Clark has asked. This is a question I get asked a lot. I'm gonna get some more water. My favorite Batman actor. So I grew up with my first introduction to Batman was kind of a combination of the animated series and the original Adam West Batman. So there's certainly my first reaction to that question is I go, well, it's Kevin Conroy who voiced Batman in the animated series. He was the first actor that really changed his voice from Bruce Wayne to Batman, and so he is by far my favorite Batman interpretation of the character. But I don't know. I don't want to make a cheap answer and say I like them all, but I like them. I do truly like a lot of the variations of Batman for different reasons. Adam West was always, I have fond memories of watching that my uncle recorded for me on VHS when I was younger. But also, if you talk live action Batman, the first movie that I saw, like many of you, was the Michael Keaton. But I do have to say that I am a huge fan of Christian Bale, and I actually was a huge fan of him even long before he ever did Batman. And I remember watching him in the early 90s in Newsies and Swing Kids, and I loved him then. And so when they announced that he was going to be playing Batman, it was a match made in heaven for me. So I was very excited to see him as Batman, and I did really enjoy his Batman, his performance, his way as an actor. But like many of you, I did have some chuckles in the theater the way that he changed his voice, especially in Batman Begins. That was a little comical in that way. So, but I do really enjoy him as an actor. We got some other questions here. Do you have any thoughts on the Fletcher Famous Studios? Yeah, just recently now with the DC Universe, it's been really fun jumping back and watching some of those old Fletcher cartoons. I remember watching those when I was younger. I don't know if they appeared on TV or it was something that they would that we got from the library or from the video store, but I do remember watching some of those. Not all of them. I feel like there was 2 or 3. Maybe that's also something that my uncle recorded for me, but it was those are fun. And now with DC Universe, I can go back and watch those more, and it's really those are pretty fun. Love your videos. Got me back into comics again. Keep it up, brother. Thank you very much. And that's really a great. That's from C Lab Beach. Mentioned that, and that means a lot because I was always a huge fan of comics and cartoons. And I remember when I started getting older, and honestly, probably in high school, when the Superman the Animated Series came out, and I don't remember if I mentioned this in a video or not, but it was just as I was starting to get older that I was not becoming ashamed, but I felt like I needed to grow up and I couldn't keep watching cartoons and reading comic books. And then you reach a certain age in your life where you go, you know what I like, and I'm going to continue enjoying those. That I really, once I graduated from high school and was kind of forming my life, that I went back and started reading comic books again and buying comic books and watching cartoons and being okay with that. And again, was sort of the catalyst of the excuse of doing a show like this. So to hear that I'm inspiring other people to keep reading comic books means a lot. That's good to hear. So we have what are your thoughts on Tim Burton Batman movie? I really enjoyed that movie, and certainly when I was a kid watching that for the first time, I saw that at the drive-in movie theater. And if my brothers are on here, they'll remember this, that we all went to see that movie at the theater. And we have a very fond memory of, at some point, and this is back when they had real film strips used for the movies, that at some point the film strip broke and we weren't able to, the movie stopped and we're all waiting while they're in there legitimately, literally splicing the film back together with film tape. And as we're all sitting there waiting in a dark parking lot waiting for the movie to start, people kept honking their horns and beeping at the movie until eventually the projectionist got over the loudspeaker that you would hang on your car window and just yelled at us that we're working on it. And so we often bring up that as our memory of that movie. But I enjoyed that movie. And yeah, there it is, Jason Knode. We're working on it. Was a fond memory, and that for some reason that's why I always think of that when I see the original Batman movie. And it's interesting because back then when that came out, that's all we had. That was the only superhero movie that we had, and so I enjoyed watching it for that reason. And now we live in a wonderful time where there's tons of superhero movies that are coming out constantly, and I like what they're doing now that they weren't ready to do with the Burton movie, and that is make it more cartoony and more comic book, brighter colors. You know, I think of the movies like Thor Ragnarok or Thor Fraggle Rock, as I like to call it, that feels like a comic book, and that almost harkens back to the Adam West style Batman. And what I'm seeing from the Aquaman trailer looks like that's falling more into that very fantasy out there kind of realm. And I think we as comic book fans, this is what we've always wanted, and more of that and less of what we've been having with some of those early movies with like Batman and Batman Returns, where it was just so dark and gritty that they were trying to appeal to a mass audience, that this was that the change now is what's exciting. So I liked the Adam West, or not the Adam West, the Michael Keaton Batman, Burton Batman then. I enjoyed that, but now it's sort of been overshadowed, in my opinion, by some of the new movies that are coming out. Let me just take a look, see if there's any other questions that I want to, they're coming in so fast, which I appreciate. And I just, we got a question here. What do you think of the 4 animated movies coming out next year? I have to be honest, I know of a couple of them. I know there's the I forget what it's called, the 4 Superman movie about that follows up the death of Superman. That one looks pretty good. And I think there's a Doom Dark. I'm a fan of the DC animated movies. Not all of them are great and all of them are good, but I do enjoy them. So I try to catch them when I can. And this one's an easy one. Wolf7356, what's your favorite Batman story from the comics? Hands down is the Nightfall series. That came out just as I was really getting into comics pretty heavy, and I love that story. I've gone back and read it a couple of times. I have the novel adaptation of that, and I talked about it a little bit in my Bane episode, how much I enjoyed that comics series. And then there was also one that came out shortly thereafter, Contagion, which was also a really great series in that. And just looking through some more congratulations on 1,000. I appreciate that. Batman Hush. Oh, that does look good. Reign of Superman. Scan Hunt 42 is saying this. Justice League versus Fatal 5. I haven't seen anything about that, but that looks really good. That sounds good. The Justice League movies have always been really good. And knew it. Oh, Chris WB. I've really enjoyed the new intros, add some personal flair. How'd you come up with those? So that was that actually was an idea that I had a while back about taking an aspect of the episode and just doing a little sketch or a little skit involved in that. and really just as, again, just another creative outlet, because I enjoy doing little comedy pieces, and I, you know, if you've been following the channel, you know that I also act in theater and do some work that way. So getting a chance to kind of do a little acting with the channel was always an interest of mine, but it really was a timing thing. And when I was doing the episodes when I first started and doing 4 or 5 episodes a week, it was all I could do to just keep up with reviewing the episodes. And so I kind of put that off until later. So it seemed like the appropriate time to start doing that was with the Superman animated series. So I started that with those, and I've been getting a couple of comments on that. Ragu Seetherman, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I do see, yeah, you're commenting on the posters behind me. Yeah, these are, over here are some albums, some story albums here. This is actually a commissioned painting that my wife got for me for one of the times that I played Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz, one of my favorite roles. So this is an artist that's a friend of ours, does these beautiful paintings on glass, and it's actually an old window. And so we have some of that, and there's a autographed portrait of Ray Bolger and some other things. Maybe I'll talk. And I got some. That's a Christian Bale autographed portrait there. Yeah, some different, a lot of Batman and such on that. But yes, speaking of the intros, that was something that I wanted to do for a while, and so it seemed like the appropriate time to jump into that for the Superman adventures. So I did that, and I appreciate that I'm getting some comments that people are enjoying them. Not all of them are as funny as I want them to be, and some of them are pretty quick, and as I try to come up with the ideas to work on those. But they are really fun to shoot and gives me something else to do with that. So thank you all for your questions there. We're at about the halfway point. I was thinking that this might go for about an hour. I'm hearing some cats rustling around over there. And so I thought that this might be an appropriate time. There has been to bring in a guest for the show. This is somebody that has appeared in the channel in the past, and as I had mentioned, that was a big supporter of the channel and encourages me all along the way. And if you haven't guessed it by now, it is my beautiful wife. Mary Beth is just sitting off screen here to come on in, join us here. Let me grab a chair for you. This is my lovely wife, Mary Beth, who is sporting her Batman onesies here. So, welcome.
Thanks.
Give me a break from talking for a minute.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
So she was just sitting off screen there. So a lot of you were commenting that she was as she was cultivating some of the comments there, that she was just off there on her phone helping out with that. So, what do you think?
Wow. 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, 1,000 subscribers. I think it's kind of a big deal. I know it's not
a very big deal.
It's not huge for some channels, but
you gotta start somewhere.
That's right. That's right. So I wanted to open this up. Does anybody have any questions for Mary Beth? She has jumped on the channel, and I talked her into doing the first Wine and Watch program. Oh yes, there is more to the onesie. It does have a hood with Batman ears. So I talked her into doing the first. It wasn't hard to talk her into, by the way, to doing the Wine and Watch. And truly, that idea came about because we were. I don't even remember why. We were talking about Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
And you. I think we were talking about going to see the new. No, it was The Hobbit.
Oh.
Was it the? It was the second Hobbit movie, and we were talking about going to see it. And I asked you if you had seen the first Hobbit movie. And she explained that she didn't need to because she already knew the whole story and went on to explain the Hobbit story.
Right, which I will not do right
now. Both huge Batman fans. So JT is Reborn is saying it's really cool how you both are huge Batman fans and I enjoy the Wine and Watch segment. So great point to mention is that Mary Beth is... What would you say your level of Batman fandom is?
I don't know. I really only know a lot about Batman because I'm married to you. Prior to that, I didn't know half as many things as I know now.
Now you say that, but I do know before we were dating, I saw a picture on your Instagram, wasn't it?
Yes,
Of
yeah.
you in a full Batman.
Yeah, I was going to see The Dark Knight, and got really into it. I bought a Batman shirt, some Batman knee socks.
Yeah.
A Batman bracelet, which Marvin ate.
Yeah. Marvin's our cat who has made appearances in the Wine and Watch videos. One of our cats. And yeah, so you were a sort of a fan. I mean, you knew of Batman and things like that.
Yeah,
so, and then she starts dating me, and eventually we get married, and I.
And my whole life becomes Batman.
Yeah, it becomes. Although we did talk about this before, that we do have. People are always getting me a lot of these pictures, these Batman photos, and I actually have a bathroom here in our house that I call the Bat Room, that has more Batman photos and those tin signs. My brother Jason, who's on here now, he gets me several of those, which are awesome to have, and they're great to be. Yeah, shower curtain and rug. Clock. So we have the whole thing done up in there, and I always tease when I get one of those that, oh, we should put this in our living room. But Mary Beth is really, really supportive about that. We actually do have some Batman stuff, including a 3-foot tall Batman action figure that actually Jason got me as well. Would your wife wear a Batwoman suit or Batgirl? All right, which would it be? Would you dress up as Batwoman or Batgirl? Yeah, so I thought this might stump. So the Batgirl's the one that you're thinking of, with the red hair and that runs around with Batman, Barbara Gordon.
Right.
Batwoman was the character that came out later, who is not actually associated with Batman, but comes into Gotham, and I think she's making an appearance in the new one of the DC shows, Flash or one of those. But she is much darker. It's a black outfit with like red in there. So
probably Batgirl.
I think you seem more of a Batgirl to me as well. So yeah, great question. Let me just scroll back here.
Maybe for Halloween. And
see. Yeah, Halloween's coming up. Maybe this is the time. Well, I will have to go. This is fun. Oh, Power B, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us, and you're leaving now, so enjoy. We'll see you. Thank you for all your comments. It's great we're watching my favorite DC Universe. Yeah, DC Universe has been a great addition, and I'm enjoying getting on there and just reading some of the old comics. And although we were just talking about this, I got to get a device, some sort of Roku or Apple TV or something. They're not sponsoring this, but I got to get something like that so I can watch it on our main TV. Right now I'm still watching it off of the computer. So so the Wine and Watch series that and actually that was all Mary Beth that came up with the name of that, Wine and Watch. And I would like to see us do more of that, and certainly a lot of you have commented that that would be something you would enjoy. So but we were talking about whether that needed to be just Batman videos, or we could do other videos or other movies. Yeah. And so, what do you think of that? What do you think? What movies do you think we should do?
Well, I've always said, I mean, once we did Newsies, it got me thinking about, kind of favorite cult classic movies from my childhood, and The Sandlot is one that I would like to do because it is equally as ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's been a while since I've seen it. So I want to go back and kind of see some of that. Especially because, okay, do you remember Squints?
The one with the glasses, right? Yeah.
He followed me on Twitter.
Oh, really? Wow.
I was tweeting something about Sandlot. He's also in one of my favorite movies, The Big Green. That would be another really good one to watch.
I really don't know if I've ever seen that. I know of it. It's a soccer movie, right?
Oh my gosh, it's so great. But he followed me. I was tweeting probably about Sandlot. He followed me, and I just died. I was like, this is 1995, whatever. Yeah. Mary Beth is dying right now.
Yeah. Mary Beth has a knack for getting famous people to follow her.
Yeah.
She also had
Aaron Carter.
Aaron Carter follows her on
Carter.
Instagram.
Yeah, he unfollowed me. So
oh, well.
I unfollowed that train wreck as well.
Forget about that. But
not good.
Yeah, when we did Newsies, and that was for the 20th or 25th.
I think it was the 25th.
Yeah, the 25th, so yeah, there's a whole ton of 90s movies. Sandlot was another one that I saw at the drive-in movie theater, so there's some fond memories there. But there's a lot of Batman movies. Somebody else was mentioning wanting to see me talk about the live action Batman movies, the new Justice League and Superman and all that. I'd like to see your thoughts on The Incredibles. That might be one that'd be fun to watch.
I've never seen it.
She's never even seen it.
Those are the best ones, when I've never seen it and then we watch it.
Yeah. Because if the Newsies, if you haven't seen that one, there was some singing alongs that were going on there, and there was some because it was familiar to both of us. But there's certainly a lot of comic book movies, but we should find a happy medium. That there's also but I think any of those type of movies that we grew up on from the 90s and things like Sandlot, Mighty Ducks, I know is a big one for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Although
all three of them.
We should do a whole trilogy,
oh my gosh, yes,
back-to-back series.
Yes.
And any other suggestions? What do you think we should? What's the movies you think we should watch for the Wine and Watch? Back with the Red Hood. Ooh, horror movies. You know, I'm actually not a big fan of horror movies, mainly because they scare me. Like, to be perfectly honest with you, you know, we're just hanging out among friends here. I know JT is Reborn. I've been watching a lot of your videos, and you're doing some horror movies for the season, and yeah, you like horror movies. You like the thrillers and that. Brad Lander, hi, welcome. Yeah, so horror movies, that although that could be fun in just the sense of it being
I could pick some for you that wouldn't be too
scary.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. We do try to watch Nightmare Before Christmas every year. That's one that we.
That's about as scary as.
Yeah, that's about as scary as I get as a claymation pumpkin guy. Here we have a question from the Sloshy Starman. Hey Andy, I know you're more focused on DC media, but do you have any thoughts on the experience with anything from Marvel? Marvel? No, I don't have any. No, I'm just kidding. I do actually really enjoy Marvel. Actually, my coffee mug here is Marvel as well. And I love the movies that are coming out right now for Marvel, and I've said this before that the Marvel movies are unfortunately doing better than DC movies. But you went to see a couple of the Marvel movies with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which ones, but every once in a while I was able to.
Captain America.
Captain America, yeah. But they're, you know, usually those are ones that. Like I do. I really enjoy those movies. And I don't know why when I was younger, I got involved in the comics, in the DC comics over Marvel. I had several friends that were more into Marvel comics, but I gravitated toward DC. I don't know if it's because from watching Super Friends and some of those old cartoons, that's who I think of when I think of superheroes. But the movies Marvel is doing are... I mean, just about all of them have been really, really good. So maybe we'll do a Wine and Watch for the Marvel movies. So we've got some other questions, some Halloween suggestion movies, the Halloween 1978. Boy, does that seem scary. Are you two doing a Batwoman? Are you two doing a Batwoman movie? I like to know your opinions on that movie. Yeah, there is a what was it? The Mystery of the Batwoman? Was that for... I think that was a Batman Beyond movie, if I remember correctly. So, I don't know. We did the first two. We did Batman Mask of the Phantasm, then we did Sub-Zero, which we thought we would like more, because you were a big fan of the Mr. Freeze movies. But the movie just didn't...
It was disappointing.
Yeah, I have to agree. It was much better when I was younger, but now it's... didn't hold the mustard. But yeah, I think if we continue on that series of watching the Batman movies, but sprinkle in a few of the other 90s movies. Yeah. Any other questions for Mary Beth about Batman, or questions about where she finds her onesies, anything like that? The Titans animated. Louis Knight, welcome Louis Knight. The new Titans animated series, or the OG Titans series, sorry. Yeah, I did enjoy the Titans series before it became the Titans Go. and I think both or one of them is available on DC Universe, and that's what I might look at. It's a very different series, completely different than the other um, animated DC shows, but that's a great suggestion. There's so many cartoons, so many series out there that I could watch and review, um, and like I said from the beginning, as long as people are enjoying this and want to keep watching them, I'll keep making them. So we just we'll keep going. What's the story behind Batman 23 in the background of your videos? Batman 23. Well, I'm facing the background of the comic Batman 23. Good eye. So my uncle found that. Actually, let me pull it off the wall right here. So this is my uncle. Now you can see what we're seeing. My uncle found this at a thrift store, and this is Batman number 23 from 1939 or 1940. As best I can tell, it's an original print. It's in really terrible condition. If you look, you can see like the cover's ripped, and this was all shredded over here. But this is the first appearance of Joker on the cover of Batman comics, and it's old. It's in really bad shape, but it's one of those that was probably in the bottom of a box somewhere, and it ended up at this Goodwill or thrift store. And my uncle's always going to those types of stores and snatches stuff up when he found it. And he got this one and several others that aren't hanging on the wall. Brad Landner says, no, it isn't. It is not the first appearance of Joker on the cover. Please correct me if I'm Batman 11. I didn't realize he was. Okay, I stand corrected. But it's one of the early ones at the very least when he came on there. But it's an old comic, and like I said, I don't know for sure if it is a reprint. I don't know if it's the original. It's probably not worth anything because of the condition that it's in. But I put it in this frame. Actually, he put it in this frame just to kind of. There's probably better frames to keep it more secure so it doesn't deteriorate anymore. But I don't know. So I hung it up on the wall. 23 is much harder to find. Wow. Well, that's because they're in the bottom of boxes somewhere at thrift stores. So I need to look it up. I don't know. Maybe it has some value still at what condition it is. I don't know. But thank you for your feedback there, Brad, because I don't know as much about the early comics of Batman, but yeah, it was just something cool to hang on the wall. Good eye for catching that. So.
Question.
Yes, Mary Beth has a question. Yes.
Well, I don't know. I probably should have talked to you about this before we went live, because
No.
I mean, I'm sure as your followers well know, I am known for saying inaccurate things.
No, please go ahead.
What is the movie that's coming out that has Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, and how do you feel? You've seen the pictures
Yes.
of him. Have you talked about that yet?
I haven't talked about that. Thank you for the question, Mary Beth. So that from what I understand, and please jump in if I don't have this correct, is that they are doing it's a standalone movie about the Joker. It exists in the DC world, but it's outside of the continuity of the other DC movies, from what I understand. The Ben Affleck Batman movies, it's outside of that continuity, and it's based on a comic of the possible origins of the Joker. Alex Flex, I think it's Arthur Flex. And one of the things about Joker is nobody knows where he came from or what his real identity is, and there's all these different options. And so different comic books have tackled his origins in different ways. So this is based on one of those interpretations. And like most of you, I've seen the set photos of him in his makeup, and I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. It looks interesting. It looks different than what we've seen from Joker in the past, but I think it's somebody I was reading about that they thought that makes a lot of sense for if you were a comic and if you were doing your own makeup, that's the excess of makeup that you would have, and it wouldn't be as extravagant or as well put on as like the Jack Nicholson Joker. So I I tend to try to reserve my comments on what the film's going to be like until I see an official trailer, because it's so hard to tell from set photos and little cell phone videos that people are shooting. But I'm a huge fan of Joaquin Phoenix, so I think he would be a really good, excuse me, it would be a really good Joker, and he would be.
I agree. I'm interested to see though, because I mean, obviously a huge Heath Ledger
Yeah,
fan.
yeah,
But,
that's true too.
I mean, I don't know. I always get nervous then when they bring on a new Joker.
Right.
A little bit.
But yeah, and it was weird when Heath Ledger took over as Joker. I remember having the same thoughts. There was a photo that was released of him early on, and everybody was going, "Oh, what is this? The scars! It looked terrible." And I knew Heath Ledger from what was it? A Knight's Tale, and I was like, "Really?
10 Things I Hate About You." Yeah, everyone was like, "Heath Ledger? That's gonna be terrible." And look at how great.
And he goes on to win the Academy Award for that. So.
Sad.
So same sort of thing, yeah. That early on it's hard to form an opinion, but it's like I trust the vision of the directors and trust what they're trying to do, and I hope it's good, and I hope that. And Joaquin Phoenix is one of those actors too that he doesn't just pick any movie. He doesn't just jump on to movies that he doesn't want to do for the money or for the praise or whatever. So I usually trust when like actors like that take on a movie like this, that it's the right script, it's the right story. I wish there wasn't so much of, they don't seem to be hiding their set or location very well, because there's so much coming out about it. But I don't know, time will tell. I think it comes out like a year from now, like Halloween next year, so gotta wait.
Yes.
So good question. Yeah, but it looks interesting. I think it I don't know. Time will tell. So, Red Hood, Elseworld. Oh yeah, JT is Reborn. It's basically an Elseworld storyline set in the '80s. Robert De Niro movie, The King of Comedy. Yeah, and I think isn't Robert De Niro in that as well. So they have some good actors that are in there. So it is kind of that Elseworld storyline. So.
It's really one more thing on that. It's really interesting to me because I think my feelings on the Batman origin story and his parents and all of
We've heard it before.
Yeah. That the Joker doesn't seem to have a well-known origin story.
Right.
And you really, why? Like, why?
Well, and I think that's part of the mythos to the Joker is like he just appears. We only know him as the Joker, and there's a lot of different theories and rumors of where he came from and who he was. In the original Batman movie, they had that he was the same guy that killed Batman's parents, and so that was kind of a weird tie-in, but I think that only existed in that movie. I don't think that's part of the comics. I could be wrong, but that was always kind of weird. So, yeah, it does add a little bit to that mystery of him, but I don't know, and so that was one of the concerns that I saw people talking about, was they were afraid that they'll do this movie and tell one of the options of where the Joker came from, and then that will become canon, and that will become like, oh, this is the definitive history, and it takes away some of that mystery of the Joker, and I love The Dark Knight and how they interpreted the character. That if you listen to him in the movie, every time he tells his history, it's different. Mm-hmm. And I think that plays into that mystery of, and they could have all been made up and off the top of his head, or one of them could have been real, and the other ones were fabrications. So, fabrications. See, these are the mistakes that I cut out of the videos. But I know some of you enjoy hearing me say Batman instead of Superman, so some of the mistakes make their way into the videos. So. Well, thank you for being on the show. I just wanted to bring Mary Beth to celebrate 1,000 subscribers with us. Marvin is laying down just behind us here, looking fat and happy. So
waiting for me to be done so he can continue trying to snuggle my face.
Right. So say bye to Mary Beth. She's will be appearing on the channel soon. We've got some other ideas for the Wine and Watch videos, and if you're enjoying watching those, we'll keep doing them because they're certainly fun to do. So, one last question for Mary Beth. What was your favorite Batman movie or episode of the animated series?
Well, the animated series was the Mr. Freeze episode still, hands down,
Yeah.
every time. I don't watch all of them
Right.
all the way through, but
Yeah.
I watch the videos and kind of
Yeah.
get a gist of what's going on. But still, yeah, Mr. Freeze for sure. Did you say
And that was the Heart of Ice was the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. And I don't even know why. I just really
Yeah.
liked it.
You like we were talking about the story of Nora and the tragic villain.
Well,
kinda.
yeah, because I always appreciate a villain that you can feel sorry for. Like, there's an explanation for why he's evil, and not just that he's a jerk.
Right. Yeah, there's some real motive there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, it humanizes them a little
Yeah.
bit. It makes them kind of relatable. That you go, well, yeah, like if you were dying,
Right.
what lengths would I mean, I wouldn't be terrorizing everyone, but I would
Well,
do what I could.
You better terrorize people. If I'm dying and you need to find a cure, I hope that you would. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does, and I think that history that's something the animated series did was they altered his origin for the show, because originally he was just a thug that liked cold stuff and had this condition where he had to stay in the cold. So it gave, and that's one of the great things about the show was like they really gave a lot more to the characters and more layers than just, hey, we're out there doing bad stuff for villain's sake.
Yeah.
So you'll have to watch. He makes another appearance in one of the early episodes of the new Batman Adventures, but he's a little bit different. No spoilers from anybody because that already know what happens to him. So thank you for being on, and I'm going to wrap up this live stream here, and then I don't know, whatever we're doing the rest of the day. Taking a nap. You're already in your snuggie, so...
I know, right?
All right, thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Mary Beth, everybody. So, yeah, some great questions. I appreciate everybody that Louis Knight says bye, Mary Beth.
Bye.
So, what was your favorite Batman villain? I tend to agree with Mary Beth. Mr. Freeze was a great villain, but I was always, like in the old 60s show, I loved the Riddler, both of them. I love the Frank Gorshin Riddler, which I have his autograph on the wall somewhere. He's in this picture, and one of these is his autograph with Burgess Meredith. And the John Aston Riddler. Very different Riddlers, but I always kind of enjoyed those Riddlers as well. I'm just trying to look at my notes here to see if there was anything else. So it was mentioned earlier about DC Universe, the Titans show. So I wanted to kind of wait later in the show. If you don't want any spoilers, then you can jump off of here if you. But I don't think there's really any spoilers that I'm going to talk about in this. But the first attempt into the original content for the DC Universe, it was fun to watch. Frank Gorshin, yes, I couldn't agree more. And although Jim Carrey did great as the Riddler as well in Batman Forever, say what you want about that movie, I really enjoyed it. It was fun for a very 90s thrill ride. So Titans, the first episode, it was good. I like the tone. I like the way that they captured the characters in that, and one set it in the real world, but still kept that superhero, mystical kind of supernatural aspects in there. Thank you, JT is Reborn. You love Batman Forever as well. It's a great show, or movie. I wish that it got more credit, but people just kind of don't give it the credit that it deserves. But talking about Titans is that I enjoyed the episode. We just saw the first one. I wish that and I thought somewhere that I saw that they were releasing the first 5 or first 10 at once, and I kind of wish they would have done that, just because the first episode was a lot of setup, a lot of getting the tone and getting us entered into the world, which is part of the idea. It's not the 60s Robin. No, the Titan. Jason, did you watch that as well? That was you're the one that mentioned to me that I should watch it before this live stream. So yeah, it's a different Robin, and actually I like their Dick Grayson that they have. I like that he's now a detective. He's a little bit older and kind of. I love that storyline of him transitioning and becoming his own hero and getting out from under the shadow of Batman, which is a theme they start to kind of deal with in this show. And I'm sensing, and I was getting this sense from the trailers that they were moving in the direction of the series being about setting up the team. So we have them kind of all in different places. Raven is meeting up with Dick Grayson, and then we saw that little tease again. Spoiler if you haven't seen it, plug your ears. But we saw Firestorm had that picture that she was supposed to be looking for Raven as well. So something's going to tie them all together, and we finally see Beast Boy in there. So I like that kind of storyline of like all this team of people all spread out, and they're not a team yet, and they all have their own wants and their own needs, and they coming together and them coming to their own to try to find a way of doing good and fighting crime, and so I like where it's going. The first episode was, like I said, it was good. It was fun to watch. I always love seeing live action superheroes. I was glad that the tone was different than the some of the TV shows we have on the CW. What is it? The Flash and Supergirl. I couldn't really get into those. They felt more, I don't know, soap opera-y, more teen drama than it was focused on the superhero elements. And I see that this one is focused on that, and so I like it. I so far I like it. And like I said, I wish that there was more episodes that they started with so that I could have watched more and get my head wrapped around where they're going with it right off the bat. But I guess we'll have to wait till next week to see the next episode. So for those of you that watched it, what are your thoughts? Jason, what do you think? JT is Reborn. I also like the series, where the series is at. Also, you should do a video together. Ooh, how about that, Jason? You've been called out. You've been requested to do a video with us. We also have a third brother, Joshua Knode, who's in the comments every once in a while. So there's three of us, and I'm the youngest of three brothers. And we had talked about that just briefly in passing, of the three of us doing some type of video, or the two of us. Joshua is an over-the-road trucker, so he's out on the road, and he's all over the place, but comes into town every once in a while. So there you go, Jason. You've been requested to join me for a video, and I'm over at his place every so often. We watch different shows. He also has the DC Universe subscription, so we jump in there. So I don't know. Maybe there's something there. So Brad, you're saying needs better dialogue. Everyone talks like they learned to talk by watching movies. I would agree with that. There was a couple of lines in there, especially Dick Grayson, that was early on when he met his new partner, that felt a little bit like, oh, this is ripped from every other cop movie, the solo cop that doesn't want a partner. So I would agree with you on that the dialogue did feel a little wonky in spots, but I don't know, maybe it'll get better, and maybe it's just, again, finding their tone. But I like the idea of it. Any other thoughts on the Titans show from what we saw so far? And New York Comic Con was just this past weekend, and they were touching on some of the upcoming series, Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn. I did kind of laugh at overly violent the show was. Yeah, it was like, now we have, because it's a subscription service and we don't need to worry about censors on television and that it was pretty over the top. That first fight with Robin, which I think we saw parts of that, it was bloody. I did, although, again, spoiler, the spot where he broke the window out and rubbed the guy's face on the shards of glass on the window, it was brutal. But yeah, but I think it kind of sets that tone of that this is not like any other superhero show that we've seen so far. And so some of the violence was justified in that gritty kind of real life circumstance. Excuse me, was justified, rather than some like Deadpool movies that's just violent for violence sake. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm anxious to see where the series goes and how it develops out um, in as we go. So this has been about an hour, actually a little over an hour. So I'm going to jump off of here, but please let me know if this is something that you enjoyed, because I'd be happy to do a regular live stream. This right now is just a off of my phone, doing the mobile live stream. The audio is just coming right off of the phone. And if this is something that is interesting, that more people want to see, and as a way of hanging out on a regular basis, I don't know, once a month or every other month or something like that, then I'd be happy to keep doing it. And this video will live on the channel, and so you can watch it later and continue the comments. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you would like to see more of, or if you have any other ideas of kind of future content on the channel. Because it's fun doing, but it's always more fun getting the interaction and hearing from all of you in what you like and are enjoying about the channel. So please let me know if you like this. Hit the like button, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe. If you've stumbled upon this video for the first time and were not familiar with my channel and the types of content that we're doing, please then jump on just hit subscribe and the little bell notification so that you can see all the content as it comes out. And we just finished the Superman the Animated Series. I have a backlog of all the animated Batman shows that are back there, all 85 episodes. And so I just finished the first season of Superman, and then we'll do we have the New Adventures of Batman. We have Wolf736 says hopefully the live stream for 2,000 subscribers isn't far away. Here's hoping to that. And certainly anything that you guys can do, just like I mentioned in the video before, just by you liking the videos and commenting and interacting with the videos and sharing it and just sending it to people that you think would also enjoy the videos, all of that helps me out and helps pick up steam, and YouTube starts suggesting the videos more. And there's plenty of content coming, because next week we're getting into the New Adventures of Batman, and I think there was 13 episodes in the first season of that. So I'll be reviewing those, and then we'll jump back into the second season of Superman. And as my schedule allows, I want to release more content. Mary Beth and I will be doing another Wine and Watch here before too long, and who knows what that one might be. It could be Sandlot, could be another movie that we enjoyed from the 90s, or another Batman movie, whatever we decide to jump in on that. But that's always fun to do. And I've got some other videos that I've shot that I haven't had a chance to put out there, that are just kind of random videos. There was a video of my setup here that I haven't yet put out. I have a Viewmaster Batman toy that my brother Jason got me, so I have a video talking about that. So we have some new things that are coming out in that sense. So if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you have subscribed and you've been on this channel for a while, thank you. Truly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this, because these videos are fun to do, but they make them that much more fun to have you be a part of them. So thanks again for watching this live stream and tuning in, and I hope to see you again in the comment section. I do my best to respond to as many of those comments as I can, and who knows, maybe we'll be on this live stream again together very soon. So thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm Andy Knode, and I'll see you next time. Now I got to figure out how to end this.